Hi, Old Man Tech here. What you're looking at is about a 20-year-old Ovation mid-body acoustic guitar. The plan today is to recondition these frets, among other things, and try and get them back smooth again to get rid of some of these little grooves in there and so forth. Now, those of you that are professionals that work on guitars, you're probably thinking, what the heck has this guy got set up here? Well, like anything else on this channel, try to use what you have available. Don't want to spend money on somebody else to do what I can do, so that's where this whole thing comes from. Yeah, it's kind of funny looking. It's an old Black & Decker workstation clamping table basically, and I've got a 1x6 clamped into it for giving a little bit more length here. As you can see, I've got a strap around this because otherwise it's going to move around on me while I'm trying to file the frets. And I've got a couple shelf brackets here holding the neck pretty secure. You don't want it flopping around like a fish out of water when you're trying to work on it, so that's the whole idea here. As you can see, I've already got the frets all taped up with masking tape. You want to protect your wood before you do this process. Alright, before we get started on the frets, as you can see, I've got the nuts pulled off of the top side of these tuners here. And what you'll usually find on any guitar, most generally if you haven't touched it for a while, is these little nuts ultimately end up getting loose on you. And mine were pretty much loose. I could take them off by hand here. To show you, just screw that out of there and pull that washer off. What I do then is I got this, it's real fine clock oil. I'm just going to put a drop on each side, on the inside where this shaft turns in the tuner, just to get a little bit of lubrication, breathe a little life back into the old booger after 20 years. It may not need it, but it makes me feel good that I've done it and I don't have to worry about them freezing up due to being dry on me. So once you do that, then of course then you can put your washer back on, put your nuts back in, and snug them up. Now when you snug them up, what I do is I take me a pair of pliers, open them up all the way. Make sure you got a good grip on her. Tighten her down by hand first. Now just ease that up a little bit. Get a little snug going on there, and call that good. You don't want to get crazy tightening them up. You don't want to use nothing like this. And you sure don't want to use nothing like this. Get all them put back in there, we'll go to the next step. Okay, with your tuner sleeves put all back in and snugged up, I want another step and put a little bit of oil on the inside of here between the sleeve and where this stud comes up. And give her a spin a few times. Kind of spread it out a little bit. Like I say, you don't want too much oil at all. Do not use something like this to oil your fine instrument. Alright, now we can move on to the neck. Hopefully in this video you can see these little wear marks on the frets. Got to hold the light, or got to hold the camera just right with the light. There you can see. There's one right there. You can see that one. Nothing major. They're not dug in real deep. If you do get them dug in real deep, you probably want to take it to a guitar specialist and have him take care of it, or if it's bad enough, they may have to replace the frets. But like I say, this is no big deal after, 20 years. But I know they're there, and I want them to go away, so that's why we're reconditioning this. Alright, now we're ready to do the frets. You want you a real fine file. What this is an old ignition points file. For those of you that are old enough to remember when you had to go out and do a little filing on the points in your distributor to get them to close properly and to fire properly. That's what this was for, and I've had this sucker for probably 40 years. You want something real fine, a real fine file. Do not use something like this. Bear in mind your frets got a gradual curve to them like your neck. So they're not flat, they got a little curve to them. Now you've got to be very mindful of what you're doing if you're going to do this. What I do is I set this on here and I'll put my thumb on it and I'll very carefully just move it across that fret and staying with the contour. This is something you don't get in a hurry about. You just take your time. Back and forth. Over and down. And then you inspect it. See that you don't go any more than you have to. You just want to get the worst of that little groove out of there that the strings wore into it. Every movement must be calculated and taken very seriously, because it's real easy to drop off a fret and gouge your wood. Like I say, you professionals probably got better stuff than I got here, but like I say, we work with what we got, and we got what we work with. So that's the first step. Now I'm going to do all of these, and we're going to come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, I've got these frets pretty much filed down to where I've gotten rid of those little grooves that were cut into them. Now I only had to deal with about the first 4 or 5 frets. You can tell the difference between a seasoned guitar player and someone who hadn't played that much. A seasoned guitar player, you may have grooves all the way up and all around your neck. Somebody that hasn't played very much or laid off for quite a few years, chances are you're probably going to just have some wear in your first 5 frets, which is pretty much what I had. Alright, the next step after that, after you file them down, without filing too far, I got some 400 grit sandpaper. And then you just want to go over them to take out the little scratches and imperfections that you did in the filing operation. Should be able to drag your fingernail across there and not see or not feel any grooves in there. And I can see by the light on this side that I pretty much got them taken care of. Anyway, on the rest of the frets where I didn't have any damage that I had to file, I basically just shine them up a little bit with this sandpaper. Now, once you get that done, I've got a little 400 grit, or I'm sorry, not 400 grit, this is 4/0 steel wool, real fine steel wool. And when you get all your filing and sanding done, just polish that sucker up. Get her smooth. Smooth as a baby's butt. Okay. And we'll do that to all the frets. And we'll go on. Ooh, that's pretty. And we'll go on to the next step. Now we got our frets all polished up. What I like to do next is take a little, I got some 91% rubbing alcohol here. I'm going to put some of that on a rag. I'm going to run that over our frets on the wood. Break up any old grime and oils from your fingers and all that good stuff. Dead skin. Clean all that out of there. See that? Oh my gosh. we'll do that and get that all cleaned out on all the frets. Turn the rag over and apply some more and keep at it until we get all these cleaned up right there. Hey, once all the alcohol is evaporated, I take a little bit of this Dr. Stringfellow Lem oil and put it on the neck, on the wood. Spray a little bit of that onto your nice clean rag. Oh, look at that luster. Let's work it into the wood there. Let that soak in. I've already done the same on my headstock here. It was fairly dry and dull, and it brought it back pretty good. So rub all that in there. Put it on liberally. Good time to polish the rest of the guitar and do all your cleaning. Did a little cleaning inside the sound hole too and cleaned up a bunch of dust that was in there. So we'll leave this on here just a minute. And you want to take a dry rag, or a dry portion of the rag you already got. Luster that up a little bit. Take off the majority of it. And I'm going to let that sit here for a minute or two before I come back with another dry clean cloth. Okay, we'll give you another look at the frets. Now that we've got them all cleaned up. Not too bad. I can live with that. Alrighty then, we got her done. Just want to give a little shout out to my little buddy Ziggy. This is for you, Ziggy. 'Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't give it on my own. You don't like the way I'm living. Just leave this long-haired country boy alone. I didn't say I was good at this. See ya.